I can now say that Kenyans are really appreciating Kenyan brands.
Yeah, for sure. What goes into your design process, if anything that you make is absolutely unique?
The pieces are not like similar 100%, but we try to make them look close to each other as much.
But the process of each piece is the same.
It's similar. Basically, that's the process: mixing the dyes, tying the t-shirt.
This is all from School of Beauty.
Yeah, actually, we had
Also,
so
your
many
process of
videos.
learning was YouTube research.
Yeah.
Okay.
We did our first trial and it came out looking so good.
We have never till
Today we've never
replicated
whatever we
made
did on
the
day one.
first time.
How much would it cost you to get going?
10,000 bob only.
And then you sell zero.
We never sold anything. Actually, we thought they are so fire, they'll sell out with day one.
Yeah. So what happened to the other 8 t-shirts?
We
We
them
still
till
wear
today.
them till today. I have most of them. So first time at Instamarket, don't know how it will go. The day one we did at 13K and we were like, Jesus Christ.
13K.
13K.
Kenyans can buy clothes worth that. First time selling several products at 13K. That was a lot.
We were so happy. Yeah, we were balling.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Financially Incorrect. I am your host Barak, and as usual, this podcast is proudly sponsored by FX Pesa, who are now in Tanzania. You can go and have physical classes at F&B House, 3rd floor. This is in Dar es Salaam. And very soon, they're actually launching a full wing of FX Pesa offices. So all the benefits that are here in Nairobi are going to be there in Tanzania. So now we're going to be in Tanzania, in Uganda, and in Nairobi as well. So as usual, if you'd like to learn how to trade, if you'd like to either open a demo account and trade without actually losing any of your money, all those links are in the description box. If you'd like to learn how to make money via trading, all those lessons are provided online. I guess that's, it doesn't matter what jurisdiction you're in, but physically in Tanzania, in Dar es Salaam, F&B House, 3rd floor. So today with me, I have two guests. The last time we had this, I had CNG and The Dream here. And today I have More and Gacie, who's named like my cousin from Regalia. And they're here for us to hear their money story and how or rather they're on this journey to build this huge enterprise. Hopefully in the next 10-15 years, it will be a massive clothing enterprise that we'd be able to appreciate and say we had a little bit of their story when they were 2-3 years in. Welcome to Financially Incorrect, guys.
Thank you.
This is podcast number, I think you've done one with Mantok, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Very young back then. Okay, you just started at that point.
Yeah, we have just started popping into the fashion scene now.
Okay.
Yes.
We're moving around a lot to pop-up markets. So
I
I think that's
see.
how Mantok, because we actually met the Mantok guys at pop-up. The Insta market. Yeah, the pop-up Insta market. That's where we met.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked and we did the product.
Okay. So this is number 2, podcast number 2.
Yeah,
That's
that's
number
number 2. Yeah.
Okay. Other than the one you had started yourself and then stopped.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, welcome to Financially Incorrect. We look really forward to hearing a bit more about your financial journey. But before that, maybe you can tell us a little bit about your brand, what it even means. And I mean, obviously, the very, I want to say, unique wear that you guys are creating and what that's been like so far. Yeah.
Yes, so Regalia Apparel.
Yeah.
We are basically a fashion brand based in Nairobi, Kenya. We basically stitch and fabric decorate locally from scratch. We started off on the 28th of May 2021, still in campus. We built up to a brand now. We have so many products. We now have a production team of our own. Yeah, so it's been a journey.
Yeah. Okay. And you were telling me a little bit about why Regalia, why the name Regalia is in there.
Regalia basically means a special type of clothing. Mostly it's worn during special occasions. Even in a long time ago, during the time of our great grandfathers,
Right.
they had attires that they would wear on special occasions during marriages, initiations, and such. So it's regalia, whatever you wear during a graduation, that's regalia. And again, regalia because these pieces that we make are very unique. Each piece that you dye once, you can't replicate it another time.
Right.
So it's very special. It's not the same as the other. Each piece is unique on its own.
Different. So maybe, I mean, what goes into making some of the attires? Because you told me you make them from scratch, and you make them by hand, and you two together with other people in the production team. So what goes into putting them together? What's the process?
First, the process to come up with a complete garment. First of all, you have to come up with the design. First of all, so me and him with Gacie, we usually do a research, and first things that we look into is what are people wearing right now. So we come up with the designs. After the designs, we go and source the fabrics. So after sourcing the fabrics, we bring them to our workshop. So we usually do two types of dye. We can actually dye or decorate the fabric itself, or we can start off by
Dyeing the garment.
making the garment from the workshop, then dyeing the garment itself. So it's design, fabric sourcing, taking it to the workshop, putting it together, bring it, we dye it, and I think we have a final product after all that.
Because you guys said that you need each specific piece of clothing is so unique you cannot replicate it.
Yes.
So how then do you determine the design, or what goes into your design process if anything that you make is absolutely unique? What's the criterion of the design process?
So I think we have a number of patterns that we've worked with for a very long time. Over that time, we've been practicing. So over that time, we are very good at certain designs. If you go to our website, you'll just figure out there's like a number of 10 designs. Before we bring out a design, we've already done it over a number of times. Before we shoot, before like we decide we are releasing this, we've done it over time. We've sold a few pieces. We've sold a number of pieces. So by that time, we are confident enough. It's a piece. Even if we don't replicate it to another piece, a client can't tell that the pieces aren't same. We're the only ones who can tell that the piece is not same, but a client will think these pieces are the same. Until you explain to them, just look into the piece closely, the pieces are not like similar 100%. But we try to make them look close to each other as much.
But the process of each piece is the same.
It's similar. The formula is same.
The outcome, usually, most of them are not the same. Yes.
Okay. Is there money in fashion in Kenya, especially locally produced and locally sourced fabrics and fashion items and garments?
I can now say that Kenyans are really appreciating Kenyan brands.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, if in the past, I was talking to a friend of mine who has been in the scene for more than 7 years, and he was telling me how hard it was to sell a Kenyan-made t-shirt at 2,500 maybe like 7 years ago. But now coming into the scene, if you perfect and do a good job, for sure there is money.
There is.
I think there's money.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had, I'm trying to think about who the fashion people who we've had in the podcast so far. I think Njoroge has been here. But she talked about, scaling from working from car boot sales to, loans to get her shops going and stuff like that. So I guess I'm just interested to hear your perspective, and I guess we'll hear it a bit more. And getting into your money journeys, you guys met at campus, so of course you have up until that point you lived individual lives in that sense. So for both of you, what were your upbringings like, and what were your, more specifically around finances, what was it like in your houses?
I remember being very young. My dad ran a greengrocer that I spent most of my time at. That's where I spent most of my time as a kid. And I remember just at that time I didn't understand money as much. Till later on, now I see the hotel. He changed the business to a hotel, and he was making us understand that the grocery is not working anymore very well, so he has to change the business to a hotel. From that point, I start understanding that he's doing this for money. He's just not doing it for fun, because as a kid, you don't understand why they are doing that until to a point that he has to say, it's not making enough money, I have to change my business to this and this. Yeah, from there to just, I think I've learned so much of business from my dad, because that's the person who has been doing a lot of business in the house. Yeah.
Okay. What did you marry?
Okay, so for me, first of all, I've been born and raised in Nairobi. Part of my time much more of my time I've been raised in Nairobi. So for me, back home, I'm from a humble background, but my mom and dad, I've never seen my mom being employed by anyone. She has been an entrepreneur her whole life. So first of all, I can even say that the fashion part of me came from her because she used to be a tailor back then. So she was a tailor. Then when we relocated, she started a greengrocer as well. I actually even didn't know that. Gacie's dad had a greengrocer. So my mom also had a greengrocer. Yeah. So my mom usually used to send us, me and my bro, tune tukamfungulie. So us on holidays, weekends, we usually went, me and my brother, to like kufagilia mom, nini hapo ndio. Akikam up ku set up, she finds that everything is ready. Yeah. So, and then what I can say about that is because it has taught me things financially, in terms of that my parents didn't even make us understand that kuna time hata walikuwa na suffer, but they didn't put the burden to us. Ama wako wanataka tujue probably one or two things are not working out. So because after that, alitoka kwa tailor, she went and started a greengrocer, then now she went to Gikomba. So she was trying these things so that at the end of the day, she can probably bring something to the table. So my mom ndio actually have learned most of my financial part because she's an entrepreneur, big time entrepreneur. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, as you come out of childhood, right? As you're sort of quote unquote graduating from being a child, what do you think your comprehension of money is? As you're now, I guess we would say, sort of young adult, yeah, maybe just before you get into university or around that age.
I think at that age, we were born at the age where there was so much of PlayStation. So mostly knew when you have money, I'll play PlayStation. I'll pay for PlayStation. That's where I usually took most of my money. Before that, it's buying banos. Yeah, buying banos to play around. Yeah, just toys, and that was all with money. You had money just to get toys, buy sweets. Buy snacks. Yeah.
Okay. Much. The same story with you.
Same story. Because back then, hata nini nyingine isipokuwa the ones that he has mentioned that you could have done with money. Because back then, I think that our parents were not really open about finances. So when we were brought up, then tulikuwa najua much about money things. So yeah, it's all about the same. Unapatia 20 bob, kitu ya kwanza unakimbililia ni bano. Ukipatia 20 bob, kitu ingine probably unakimbilia ni kwenda kucheza PS. So
that's it. Okay. Yeah. So at what point do you guys first of all, because you guys meet in university, right? Yeah. So what do you both go and study? Are you studying the same thing? Are you studying different things?
In campus,
what university and what campus was it? Yeah.
So we were both at St. Paul's University, Limuru.
Yes.
I think we met in week 1 during orientation. And I think we have so much in similar with this guy. I think that's why we became friends. But you weren't doing the same courses. I was actually doing communication, and I was doing business and information technology, BBIT. Yeah, so I remember the first time seeing More actually was at the cafeteria. That's the first time I remember seeing this guy at the cafeteria. And I don't think that was the day I talked to him. I talked to him much more later, because I think he was not even my first friend in campus. I had other friends before him.
Okay. Yeah, but we were in the same group, but
we weren't as close.
We weren't as close as back then, but when we continued hanging out together, we started realizing that we have some things in common, and we started becoming friends, and
that's how
we've ended up here.
So I think we stayed in the hostel for around 1 year. In the second year, we moved out off campus. So we stayed all that, the other period, the rest of the 3 years, we stayed together with More. So there we have to share our financial journeys.
In a one bedroom.
Because now...
What was in a one bedroom? So one person, you're putting a mattress?
No, we had a decker.
We had a double decker.
So there we have to get very straightforward with our finances, because at times you have to share on shopping and food. Yeah, and I think over that period, the reason that the thing that created a better foundation for our friendship is that period, because we never like quarreled over money or anything in that house. Yeah, we really planned our things well, that we never got to a point we quarreled with this guy. For 7 years we've never quarreled about
Yeah,
anything.
actually, since we became friends, only probably business time.
Business wise, yeah,
It's the only time probably we can
have
we
a
can
push and pull kidogo. Yeah.
But the rest of the time, since I met this guy, we have never even had a
But what was
conversation.
the situation like, even living in the same house? Was it just everything is 50-50? So you figure out where you're going to get your money, I figure out where I'm going to get the money, and I bring my 50%, and that's it.
So most of the days I knew if More got breakfast, actually, because mostly we usually took like 2 meals. If More got breakfast, I'll get supper.
Yeah.
So that's how we usually did things. If I got breakfast, he'll get supper.
Just
but for the
interchangeable.
bills,
You
like,
guys didn't cook.
We cooked.
We cooked.
So when
Actually,
you're saying
for
get
the
breakfast, my assumption is you're paying for
no,
breakfast.
I'll get like bread.
I see.
and
Okay.
milk to
Okay.
make tea. Yeah.
Okay.
But for the big bills like the gas and all that, we
We usually
divided that
cost share.
equally. We usually shared that equally. Yeah. For the rent, we had talked to our parents, so they were paying that.
Okay.
Yeah, equally.
And at that time, what were your living expenses like at that point? So are you paying for rent?
In campus, you don't have much money. I think in a day, I can remember in a day our spend was almost with a 400-500 bob you can survive, as long as you have like cooking oil.
Right,
you have groceries. In Limuru, groceries are not that expensive, so with a 500 bob in a day you survive properly.
Actually, 500 bob is too much.
It's too much, actually.
It's too much.
Yeah.
Because when we bought, when we were opening, so we used to do shopping. So we come up with a list. Gacie comes up. We divide the list. I come up with something. I come with some things. He comes with something. So tukiishi the rest of the time tukiwa shule. So ikiwa ni time ya food, ndio probably ni hey bro, kona how much, kona chwani, mimi kona chwani. Sasa zile probably tumesota. Tunaweza shika nini? Mayai na ugali ni hiyo ndio tunapika. Hivyo so we usually did things together, and even the friendship yetu pia ikaendelea ikigrow. Yeah, and we have taught each other sana kuhusu financial literacy when we were together, because kuna time we realized after we shift kutoka campus and came to live outside, the first semester we used a lot of money. We used a lot of money, so we tukasema acha tujiteka mkutano tujiulize, because ukiwa pale uni hakuwezi kosa ile pesa ya kutupa unajua tu ukiwa uni lazima at least hang out na friends, vitu kama hizo. So we did a meeting with him and we were like, ni lazima tujimanage juu tukiendelea hivi we are using a lot of money and tutaanza kujiletea pia si shida kisisi juu tunaweza shindwa hata kukaa hapa hivi nje.
Okay. So where does the the apparel idea come from? Is it from is it creatively driven or financially driven?
So me remember the journey. I'm the one who threw the idea to More. That's after COVID. COVID was 2020. So we had to break for school that period, 2020. So when I went home, I was so idle. I think my creative juices just started flowing. So I started like making some mats at home, like crochet mats. Started making mats and they were coming out so well. So after that period, when I went back to school, I was like, I'm not staying idle again. I can make a few coins because, again, whatever I get from home is not that much. I can make like extra maybe to get myself clothes and all that. So it came from the bags. I got also this, I don't know if you know these Sauti Sol bags that are sold at Karioko. So I was getting those at wholesale after that and selling them. I had a profit to that kidogo and then sell it to like friends, referrals. And then after that, now I started going to Gikomba. Getting very big trousers. And then I cut them into fabric and make like bags.
Bags were there.
I could design bags and take them to a tailor who would stitch them together and I'll sell the bags. So it was, that period, it was quite complicated. It was hard, like balancing school and waking up early, going to Gikomba and getting the bags. And that's when I started thinking of
another idea that will be easy and an idea that I'll share with a friend, so it will make it easier for me to do the idea. That's when I thought of tie-dye and gave the idea to More. And that's when we started. It took some time because we had to save a bit. We had to save our...
How much would it cost you to get going?
10,000 bob only. But that takes some time because again we didn't have much. You have to balance your small pocket money and all that.
How long did it take you to save the 10,000 bob?
How many months was
2
it?
months.
2 months, yeah.
Okay. So 2 months save 5,000, 2 months save 5,000.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And question. So as you take the idea to him, do you tell him this is going to be 50-50, or do you tell him no, because it's my idea, this will be 60-40?
No, I was as long as he was my friend, like my best friend. So as long as he's willing to do it and he shows me that he's willing to do it, it's 50-50.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you save your 10 Gs, 5 Gs, 5 Gs.
5 Gs.
And it takes you 2 months to put it together. And sorry, so during these 2 months, as you're saving to get to these 5 Gs, what are the things you're sacrificing on
I think
to get to the 5 Gs?
this is the month that he tells you we've discovered that going out a lot with our friends is costing us much. And
Right,
all that.
Yes.
So we really had to cut down on that. I remember that semester we stayed a lot indoors.
In the house.
Indoors,
Yeah, we weren't living a lot, mostly indoors. We made sure we are cooking because when you cook now, you've cut the costs. Like we buy things in wholesale. If it's groceries, we go to the market, buy things in wholesale. We weren't spending a lot. Missing lunch on some days. Mostly missing lunch.
Mostly missing lunch because lunch was not a priority for
Lunch
us.
was not a priority for us.
Okay. So what do you do with the 10,000 bob?
So with the first 10,000 bob, we had a friend of ours who knew a lot about where we can get the raw materials for the tie dye, and also we started with 10 t-shirts. So it came the moment when we get the 10K, we got the 10K. We came to town, met our friend. He took us to downtown. That's where we bought our first 10 t-shirts. I remember in 7.
These were now white
Yes,
t-shirts.
white
plain
t-shirts.
t-shirts. Yeah, from size small to
double XL, I guess.
Yeah.
How many? Like 2 of each?
Yeah,
Two
two
of
of
them
each,
medium,
actually.
2
Yes,
large,
two
2
of-
XL.
Yeah, two
Yeah.
of each.
Okay. And 2 double XL. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Then after that, we did our first trial and it came out looking so good.
We have never till date
Today we've never
replicated
whatever we
made
did on day
the
one.
first time.
Is that an objective opinion?
It's already
Or
whatever we're doing
subjective?
is already good, but we try to we've really tried to replicate.
never-
What
we
was so
did.
good about that one?
The dyes came out so good.
So
the
well.
color came out so.
Okay,
and we
maybe
can't tell
explain to me,
why.
what's the process of how you get the dye onto the t-shirt? What's the process?
So there's the mixing of the dyes come in powder.
Okay.
So you have to mix them to liquid. That's the first process. And then for the t-shirts, you have to tie them into different patterns. So we tie them into different patterns. And after that, now you fuse the dye into the fabric. You just pour the dye into this fabric. And you might fuse several colors. Like for us, a lot we play around with colors. So we'll fuse like 2 colors, a green and a black. Yeah, basically that's the process: mixing the dyes, tying the t-shirts, and just
then
pouring the dye into the fabric.
Okay.
This is all from School of YouTube.
Yeah, actually, we had watched
Also,
so
your
many
process of
videos.
learning was YouTube research.
Yeah.
Okay.
YouTube,
All right. So
everything.
you have your 10 t-shirts now. You've dyed them. They're absolutely fantastic as far as you guys are concerned.
Yeah.
And then you sell 0.
We never sold anything. Actually, we thought they are so fire, they'll sell out with day one.
Yeah.
So we were very confident. We put the first pictures on Instagram.
IG.
We had a new page.
You got some models, or you guys were the
No,
models?
before we did a shoot just indoors with a Manila paper, a white Manila paper, and then we just put as a background. Like,
That shoot was horrible.
The photos are on our Instagram. We've not removed them till today. Yeah, they're there.
Okay,
on the Regalia
no,
Instagram
no,
page.
I don't think
They are there. They are behind one post. I was looking at them today. Yeah, they're still there.
Okay.
They're still there.
That shoot was horrible.
It was
I remember
horrible.
because I was doing communication, I had to go to our department and requested for a light, an LED light, a big one. I came with it at home. And we bought a Manila paper, a white Manila paper. So we used it as a background, and then we were lighting now the t-shirts now using a camera.
Right.
But the shoot was horrible.
But it came out still very
Did
bad.
you think that, are you saying it's horrible now? And at the time you thought it was
It
fine?
was horrible because we
Even
didn't
at the
post
time you thought it was
Yes,
horrible.
we never
Because
post.
we got
Okay.
to post those photos. We never posted them. We posted them like behind a post that we did later on.
Actually, what we did, we posted them, but we took them off.
We took them down. Yeah, I remember.
So if you thought they were horrible, why did you think people would buy them if you thought they came out? If you thought the images of the product came out horribly, why would people buy them?
Okay, that's when you realize that
Yeah.
when we realized that the pictures are horrible, so we took them off and did another shoot.
Okay.
So we decided like we will use our rooftop. So we bought a rope and tied it there on top of the rooftop. Then we used hangers and hanged the t-shirts. Actually, that photo
was
is
much
now
more better.
Yeah, it's on IG right now.
It's the very first 2 photos we posted. I think
Yes.
like 2-3 photos we posted on our
So we
IG.
posted them and they looked fantastic. Yeah. So but we only sold 2.
2 t-shirts.
Now after the new post, there's 2.
Two.
Okay. How much do you sell them for?
We were
1,000 bob.
actually
800
remember
bob.
having this discussion with Gacie. We were like, let's sell these t-shirts at 1,500. And then after a while, we are like, oh no,
That's a lot.
That's a lot. 1,200.
That's a lot.
Oh no, that's a lot. Okay, 1,000 bob. Okay, 1,000 bob. Okay, yeah. And what about we play with people's mind and do a 999?
Oh yeah, it was 999.
So we sold them at 999.
And
Okay.
only 2 were bought.
Yes.
So what happened to the other 8?
Actually, we did a shoot. We still did.
Oh, we did another shoot.
Did another shoot just to push the product. So we got like our friends from campus, got beautiful
model.
ladies to come model for the brand, and also got a friend of ours who was a photographer.
Yes, and we
So
used
they
now
came.
him.
They came. We did a shoot, and that's actually the first proper shoot we did and posted.
We
on
paid
the
him
page with
500
models.
bob to do all that.
The
Photographer, yeah.
500. The models you paid
For free.
For free. I remember going to Gikomba and
Yeah.
buying like 2 white bed sheets.
That's
and
what it
then
is,
I
That's
took
your
them,
background.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
took them to a fundi and he stitched them together and used it as a background.
And I still think till today that shoot was very creative. I
Yeah,
like
it was
till
very
today.
creative.
Yeah.
Because we did the shoot where we lived. The
Off
floor that
campus,
we
we
did.
lived there.
Yes. So
Okay. But it did not translate to more sales.
It never translated.
So
most.
what happened to the other 8 t-shirts?
we wear
We
them
still
till
wear
today.
them till today. I have most of them.
Okay. So and again you said I guess it sounds like it was a mix of creativity and a money venture.
Yeah.
So what do you then decide? What are your next moves after that? After this thing hasn't technically worked?
After it hasn't worked, we stayed for a while without talking about it. We went
Like for
mute.
You
3
just
weeks.
did talk about it.
Yeah, we
We
went
never
you live in
talked
the same
about
house.
Yeah, we went mute about the idea because at first when we were doing this idea, we thought that the shirts are very fair, they'll sell.
Yeah.
They'll sell out. And then you figure out they're not even moving. You've only sold 2 to your closest friends. So after that, I think you were very disoriented, like what's the next
Yes,
direction?
we never talked about that situation. Like for 3 weeks. Yes, we were talking about other things, but
We never
that-
talked about the
No.
Regalia idea
Yeah.
like for 3 weeks. Yeah.
So, but I remember there's a time I was like, I went to town. When coming back, I was like, we need to talk
Figure
about
out
this
something.
now. Now we need to figure out a way that you can be able to do this because it's a dope idea, it's a great idea, but now we need to like figure out how we can be able to actualize it perfectly so that it can be able to start making sense. So we did a meeting with Gacie and came up with few ideas that we came up with and
Yeah, we actually that brought impact. The meeting brought impact.
Yeah.
So it was a successful meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What ideas worked after that? What is it that you fundamentally did differently that allowed you to now begin to start making money and make sales from the apparel?
So what you did, the first idea was like, I told Gacie we can be able to start using models. Not models, influencers. So, and he was like, okay, tick, let's use influencers. And I was like, the following day in the morning, I woke up, started looking on our IG, started coming up with the names and sending out like
Emails.
DMs. We sent out a lot of DMs to different influencers.
Actually, we were sending DMs and emails to every influencer. We were sending a DM and an email.
at
I
the same
remember
time.
at times we'll send like 50 of them. And
And what are you telling them at this point?
can I even remember?
We have a brand that we do tie and dye, and we have a brand, and we would like to give you like a PR
PR
package.
package.
Yeah. So, and this one, remember, all these PR packages were done from our pockets.
Yes.
Now, because the business is not making anything, so we had to go deep into our pockets now and start like funding the company now. That's when we started actually funding now the
Did
company.
did anyone accept the PR package?
Yes, they
Several
did.
of them actually, not any. Several
Yeah.
accepted, and at some point, I remember like one of them who accepted, and we sent so many T-shirts to the coast. Yeah,
And all
and
of
that's how
this.
it started, and that's how like it started being motivating to us, and that's how we started like now thinking that it's very viable. The business is very viable.
But how much did each PR package cost?
It never cost that much because I remember just buying a T-shirt and the dyeing process that would cost
And a packaging
around and a packaging bag and also delivery that will cost something around 600 700
bob.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's how you begin to get the word out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
but that was a lot back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't as little as it
Yeah.
sounds now.
Okay. And how anything else that you do that begins to get your business moving other than the influencer collaborations?
So we came and we figured out that we can't afford like good quality photography, like good photography. So we really had to be creative with how we do our shoots.
Yes.
So our shoots have always been very creative.
What does creative mean in this instance? Like, what does that technically mean? Are you I don't know.
Like everyone is using the studio, but why don't we shoot like
Shoot
somewhere
outdoor.
in an open grounds with long grass? Yeah, like just make it unique, very unique.
So Limuru is very beautiful because we were in the main campus. So we used the tea leaves plantations. So we had just to make our shoots very creative. And our friends came through because we were using them as our models and we never paid them. And the photographer that we paid 5 sock
He's the guy who kept coming back.
kept coming back.
Actually, I think he had a raise afterwards. He was
Yeah,
being
he had
paid
a raise.
1,000 pounds.
Because the creativity now was too much.
Okay. And at this time, how are you guys surviving as you're in campus? This time your parents are still footing your bills. How are you making the extra money to even send out the PR packages and pay the photographer, facilitate your creativity for photography? Yeah.
So I think reaching this point, you've discovered that the business is viable. At least you're selling 2-3 T-shirts, and you're feeling that if we put more effort to this, it might make sense. So we sacrifice a lot towards putting more money into the business. So that means you try to cut down your costs. That means you, like kawaida, missing out lunch. Yeah, we have like a kitty that we bring together. We have to save a certain amount by a certain time to do a certain project.
Okay.
So that's how we were able to keep the business going.
Okay.
I remember the closet that we were using, this container, the earbuds, after the earbuds, you finish the earbuds, the container.
Yes.
We used to save money over there.
In that
In that container. So if you get 100 bob, you just put in there. And that
So
money
basically all the money that you guys are making that you would consider extra money,
Yeah.
you're putting
we're
it
saving
aside.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
and the little pocket money probably.
That you're
yes.
getting
you
from
can
the
sacrifice a bit
Yeah.
and just put it for a project. Yeah, because we
Okay.
had targets. If we are doing maybe more T-shirts, we have a date, or maybe we are doing a shoot on a certain day, we have like a date to it. So we have to save by that date. We have to have that money ready.
Okay. What's the next big thing that happens in your journey for your business?
So now we come to 4th year and we are very busy with our projects. The business goes silent. That's
Yeah.
2022.
And at this point, you've not taken any money out of the business. All the money that's come in has just gone back into
Back to the business.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So we've gone silent for about from 2022 to
2022 from like January, not even 2022. I think the end of
2021. Yeah. The very final bit of our 4th year because of the project. And
Just out of curiosity, what were your projects on? Did you write thesis?
yeah, you have to write a documentation to it. For him, he was doing a film.
I was doing a film.
A film?
Yeah.
Okay.
For me, I had an IoT project. I had to program an IoT project. I was doing a smart septic technology.
Okay.
So my
Sounds very complicated.
It was very complicated. So yeah, I had to take a break and take time to do my
figure it out.
project.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
What was your film on?
Can I remember?
You can't. It's like 3 years. Like 2
Because
years ago.
we did a lot of films back then.
Okay. Okay. As part of the
Yes.
school. Okay.
Yes.
So you can't remember what the final one in specific was about.
I remember it was about. I actually got this concept from Abel Motu as one of his stories.
Uh-huh.
So it was like a boy who used to like play football. Then after a while, he started hanging out with friends, and these friends they usually used drugs. They were.
I think that's a movie he's actually done.
Yeah, he actually has.
Yeah,
done
like
that movie.
it's that. I think that's click bang. if
Bang,
I'm
I
not
guess.
wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I tried to replicate it back then before he did the movie. Actually.
Oh. I'll tell him.
Because it was a
I
story
actually
back then.
did send him.
Oh, you sent it to him.
Yes,
What did
I
he
did.
say?
He never responded.
He never responded.
Yes.
Anyway, I'll see that he gets the message. I see what he's supposed to be. But so before he released the movie, you had done a version of it.
Yes, I had done a
Interesting.
version of it.
Okay. Interesting.
So,
Okay.
so that period after our projects again, we were to go for an internship for 3 months now after campus. So that's 2022 January to around April now. Now that time you can't commit to the business. I was on internship at Mata Hospital.
And for me, I never did internship. I got a job.
Right away.
So from 2022 January.
A paying job.
Yes,
Yeah.
a paying job.
Okay. How much are they paying you?
30K.
30K. What was the job? As a marketing intern or
Call center.
at a call center?
Yes.
Ah, okay. All
I
right.
actually, he almost joined me, but luckily,
Luckily, I
I
didn't join
thank
in.
God he never joined me because that job.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
It was stressful.
it was stressful.
What's it like working at a call center?
It's stressful. Let me just.
Like, what are the, and ideally, are you listening to angry customers?
Yeah,
Or-
definitely.
Yeah.
There's sometimes you can get good days that when you're interacting with the clients, you get good clients. But there's because actually the company that I was working for was a states company. So probably you can get a customer who's like, you have like a really
Thick
heavy
accent. Yeah.
accent. So just give me to your supervisor. They are very arrogant, but sometimes you can find like really nice people who like you have already solved their case and you're like talking. So it depends.
Okay.
And at some point I was like struggling, but I came to understand the nitty-gritties of what it takes to work in a call center, and from there I was used to it.
Okay.
But it was taking too much of my time because I didn't have a social life out there.
Oh,
Because
how many days a week?
I
would
was
you work?
working 5 days a week, but I was working night shift. So when you are out of the
During
night
the day, he
shift,
has to sleep.
during the day
Okay.
you're just sleeping.
Okay.
So it
Okay.
really did take a toll on me. So it reached a point I had to quit.
Okay.
Because for the first time, I didn't see this guy for months.
Yes.
Okay.
During that period.
During that period, huh?
Yeah.
And how? So what? And what would you be doing with your money? I mean, it was like 30K, not worth
30K
what you were
is-
enduring.
Yes, because it was never worth. Because 30K you pay. I used to live in a house where I used to pay 10K. So the 30K kwanza patia zakayo yake. Kishampatia zakayo yake, hiyo yenye inabaki you pay rent.
Yeah.
Then you do like shopping kidogo, then you have transport, and then there's this when you are off
You wanna do things.
yeah,
Yeah.
so you like it reached like unapata imefika like date 15 date 20 and you're like wow,
There's nothing.
You have nothing
I'm
left.
suffering.
Because we
I'm
usually have like money conversations with him a lot. I usually challenged him and asked him, "Are you able to save anything from your salary?" And he was explaining to me how hard it was, and I was like, "That's not a job. Like, how do you use all your money and you have no savings?"
Yeah. And at the time, you're an intern.
Yeah. I
Are
am
you
an
being
intern.
paid?
I'm not being paid. I'm just getting, I think, 300 bob daily from Mata just for transport and lunch. But again, from home, I was getting like support kidogo for
Okay.
transport and all that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I wasn't spending. I'm not a spendthrift. I wasn't spending much. At the end of the day, I could save something. At least I'd have like something. Like end month, I have like a 5G that I have on the side.
Just based off of.
Yeah.
Me never even had that 5G.
For him, he has a salary.
I never even had that 5G.
Even that 5G you didn't have.
Eh, even 3,000 bob.
Yeah.
I
Forget it.
don't know.
Okay. So and this period the business is down.
Yeah, it's down. We're
So
doing
how many
nothing.
months is the business silent? And are people reaching out to you guys at this period
Yeah, I
to be like, do you have new collections? Do you have new
people were used to buy t-shirts from the brand back then. So I remember at a time we had someone who tried to order t-shirts for so long, but since I was working, he was working so hard doing the orders. So I think we actually never delivered on that order, but it wasn't paid for. So we took a break of around
like 7 months.
7 months. Actually, almost the whole of that year till like September. That's when we came back. And they were like, More was like, me, I'm ready to quit my job.
After I did quit my job, we came back fully.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm ready to quit my job and we do this thing seriously.
And at that time, your belief was this thing was going to make you guys money.
Yeah. By the time he's quitting his job, I'm done with my internship and I've not gotten a job. Like I've suffered. Like I've tried to apply for jobs.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is enough. I have to try this Regalia thing. It's the only option I have.
To get out.
Yeah, to get out.
Okay, all right.
Me remember my mom was like, you want to quit? Because I wanted to quit like 3 times. And I actually, when I finally did quit, I never even talked to her. I never even told her that I'm quitting.
Yeah.
I just did quit. I wrote an email because for someone to quit, you had to like give a 30-day notice.
Yes.
I never gave them a 30-day
Oh,
notice.
you quit and you walked out?
Yes, I told them with immediate effect.
And so was it in lieu of your salary? Did you just say...
Yeah, I was like, even don't even pay me. I don't even.
And what was okay? So at this point in time, based on what you've said, you have no ability to save, or basically your money, your salary, you have saved 0. Yes. So as you're quitting, what's your plan for how you're going to sustain yourself? Because you said you've not told your folks. So how are you going to? What's your plan to pay rent that month?
God.
You had 0.
But when I did quit my job,
Yeah.
I was like, because my mom usually sells shoes right now. I was like, okay, mom, unaweza nipatia pia kakazi kiasi, naweza kuwa nakuja hapo unanipatia like ka punch. And she was willing to do that. So once in a while I used to do that.
Okay.
Actually, that's how we brought back the business to its feet, because that time when he was working at Gikomba, after he quit his job, I remember I was working at my dad's butchery as well. So literally every coin I got, I saved it for Regalia. I was being paid around 700 bob every day. Everything I was
You were working at a butchery. What was your job? Were you the guy who was...
No, I was the one slicing the meat for...
I see, okay.
So I was being paid 700 bob. Each coin that I got, I saved it up for Regalia. I never bought anything with that money. Each coin I got.
Okay. How much did it cost to get your business back up?
What we did a new collection now. We brought in a new product. The hoodies, the sweatshirts, that's whatever we brought in when we were coming back to the game. So we saved up, did hoodies, sweatshirts, and paid now a proper studio shoot. I remember for the first time we spent a good amount on a photo shoot.
Yes, because we had to pay like the studio. But you remember the first investment when we came back was like 15,000. And when we did the 15,000, it was not enough. We had like to top up another like 15 Gs again. So this
is essentially to bring back this whole collection, to bring back the collection to the photo shoot, everything.
Everything. Okay. So we had the same friend we used. We asked him if he knows where we can get like hoodie fabrics, and he took us to one of the suppliers that actually one of them used them till today. We bought fabrics. I remember the first time we bought fabric, it was like 13 meters, and we were in town at a hotel called Smoothers, and the rider who was coming with the fabric came with it in a gunia.
And we thought that was a lot of fabric.
A lot of fabric. 13 meters. That's a lot of fabric. But so we used it.
What does 13 meters give you? Sounds like it's not a lot of fabric.
It's not a lot of fabric.
2 meters per hoodie.
I don't know.
2 meters per hoodie. So those are around 6 hoodies only.
Yeah. 13 meters will give you 6
hoodies. Yeah. Okay. That's a lot of fabric.
Yeah. Okay, probably 7.
7 hoodies. 7 hoodies. Yeah.
Okay. So that's where that's essentially where you guys start back. How long does it take you to now sell these the collection that come up with the hoodie, t-shirt?
So this time we don't have much money, so it's a bargain we are doing. We want to do a shoot, put it on social media and see if people order. But now with a very young brand, people won't trust you as fast. Yes. So I think after doing that, we came to a realization it won't work this way. We have to have stock and walk around to pop-ups in Nairobi. Yeah, and just people get to interact with our product. That's how we get to meet and network with people as well, and they know about the brand. So after that shoot, I think we just sat down, came up with a list of products, around 20-30 products, and that's how we started our journey moving around Nairobi pop-ups. Actually, that's how many people have known Regalia. Through pop-ups.
And this sorry,
no problem.
All this I remember because after we were out of campus, we never had a place to die. We used our balcony while we were in campus to die. So we luckily Gacie's parents were
we had some extra backyard space
at their place. So they allowed us to be able to continue doing it over there. So we continued doing it over there. And after this, after we did this collection, we came up with the idea of going to pop-ups now. So we did the stock and started going around with pop-ups. And
how much did it cost you to build the stock that you needed now to go to these pop-ups?
I can't remember very well.
You remember the initial 15?
I remember the initial 15 and another 15.
15K.
Yes.
We used.
Plus, I remember we did something for the shoot. It was quite around 40, 50.
Between 40 to 50,000 in terms of coming back. Okay. Yeah. So what's the first pop-up you go to?
The Insta Market.
This I guess I don't think they don't run it anymore.
They don't run it anymore.
Okay, but the Insta Market, the first one you go to. How much did you? Because you need to pay a fee to go.
You had
right?
to pay a fee. It was around 2,500 or 3,000.
Okay, that's very, very fair.
It was very fair. Yeah. So first time at Insta Market, don't know how it will go.
Yeah.
We're quite anxious. So we go to the pop-up. We set up. And day one, we did a 13K, and they were like, Jesus Christ.
13K.
Kenyans can buy clothes worth that. Like, 13K felt, selling first time selling several products at 13K. That was a lot.
We were so happy. We were balling.
Okay.
So we got 13K for a first day in a pop-up. We never thought it will happen that way, because actually it was a trial and error. We never thought we'll sell at first. So selling the 13K was already something. Yeah, it was
So
something.
do you think, sorry, to ask you a question, so do you think as a young business, for example, in Nairobi, do you think that a pop-up, or for example, you know when you go to the malls, Hub or well, that's the one I frequent because I'm on that side, and I'll see these small businesses setting up their stands and their stalls. Do you think that is more, in your experience, do you think that has a better potential return than just staying up on Instagram and taking photos and putting up and hoping that people see your stuff?
Yeah, for sure. Because on some days on a pop-up, you'll make as much as you'll make in a month.
Or selling online.
Yeah, selling online. For example, if you go there's some pop-ups, if you attend only one day, you've made enough that you'll make on a month online. Because now online people are not sure about the product. Yeah. On some months, actually, at that period, we never sold online. So we'd only depend on the pop-ups. During pop-ups, that's when we could sell our products.
And then, a lot of Kenyans don't trust online
businesses.
Yeah, it's still not where we think. You know what's really interesting about what you've said? I had a conversation the other day with I don't know if I should say his name and what his business, but he's in software. But what he was telling me is that he has found that we are not as an economy, we are not as digitally forward as we think we are.
Sure.
And he set up they've opened up a branch in Nigeria, and when they opened up a branch in Nigeria, because what they sell essentially is a SaaS solution. The Nigerian sales team were walking, like doing door to door, and he found that they were, I think, 90% more successful than the digital ads and things like that. So he decided to employ the same strategy here in Nairobi. And he said he's found it extremely successful. Every Thursday, him and his sales team just go on ground and they go door to door to offices and say, this is my business, this is my this. And he's found it really successful. And he said Ethiopia even further behind. There it's like a non-starter. But he said the only place where people, in his opinion, seem to respond with a decent level of digital online response is South Africa. But in sort of East Africa, he's like, we are there, but like we are not exactly where we think we are. And that in-person sales is still the most optimum route right now. Anyway, I just found that interesting based on what you're saying. Agree.
Yeah.
You guys agree.
Yeah, we agree. We
Yeah.
agree on that because
Yeah.
at that period you had to sell on people physically. We had to sell to people physically.
Yeah.
We couldn't sell online. We will go for weeks without getting orders. But each time we go to a pop-up, our sales kept on increasing. From that, when we started the Insta Market with the 13K, every other time we went to a pop-up, our sales kept on increasing.
Day in, day out. I remember like after the first Insta Market, it was successful. Now we went to another a second Insta Market, which was on December 2022. And I remember that time we did Insta Market on Saturday, and the following weekend was when blankets and wine was getting
coming
back.
Yes.
So we also paid for blankets at the same time. So we did well over here again at Insta Market.
What does doing well mean? Because you say the first one you hit 13K. What do you hit at
13K.
this one before blankets?
I think 18, 20 Gs.
18 to
18,
20
20 Gs, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So there was an improvement.
An improvement there. Then you
Yeah.
go blankets.
We
Yes,
go
then we go
blankets.
blankets.
What was blankets like?
Blankets was better.
Yeah,
was
better.
again better.
Like above 30 Gs.
Above 30K, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And on this money that you're making, what's your profit margin? Like how much money at that point in time are you aware what your profit margin is, or
Yeah,
you're just
we are
making
aware
money?
because the way we are pricing our items is getting the costs, and then we just see how much markup do we put on the
We
Okay.
put on the,
And again, we don't want to put a very big markup because this product is new. Like we really need again to get feedback from people of how they feel about the product. So after attending these few pop-ups now, we are able to understand that people really like the item. People are liking the item because they are buying, and the feedback is good. So I think by the time we reach January 2023, even the pricing that we had increased.
and increased.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So 2022, what were you selling stuff for? And 2023 January, what are you selling stuff for now?
I remember back then selling a hoodie for as low as 2,200.
2200, yeah, 2200. I
2200.
remember.
For a
Yeah,
hoodie.
I can't
Yeah,
remember
for a
how much
hoodie.
we raised it to, but now it's around at 354K. We have hoodies
Yeah,
from
for
ranging
355.
from 35
Okay.
to 4K.
4K, yes.
And so, and at that period, how are you guys surviving? Because you're no longer working. Do you move back home? And I guess in this period, a couple of questions. One, how are you surviving, and what do you do with the money that you guys are now making?
So this money that you're making, we are making sure all this money goes
back to the business.
You're still not touching it.
Yeah, and we're not touching. It's bootstrapping till it works out. So all the money goes back to the business. More, I think, still. Why still you aren't working at your mom's?
No, I was
You'll
not
explain how you
working.
were surviving. For me, I was still back home.
Okay, so
I
you're
I don't have many. So I only need my transport and lunch.
and
I'm
you're
okay.
sorted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
How about you? How are you surviving?
So for me, like God's grace. But I thank my mom.
What do you mean by that?
My mom came through for me
Yeah.
because it reached a point that she was like, okay, because I believe in what you're doing, so I will just
Pay your rent.
pay your rent and vitu kidogo kidogo tu hizi zako za kuweza kujisustain and you continue doing what you're doing and but kuna deadlines tukipita hapa sasa
Yeah.
itaanza kuwa ni kama sasa you'll start paying things for yourself sasa so kulikuwa na hiyo deadline pia
Okay. What was it? Was it like a 6 months, 7 months, 1 year?
1 year.
It was 1 year. So you said for 1 year I'll give you grace. You do your business, but after 1 year,
Ni hivyo.
ni
Figure out
hivyo.
your life.
Okay. All right. So what's the next big thing that happens for you guys financially? You come into January 2023, you've increased your prices, people are buying, you're doing pop-ups. What's the biggest pop-up take home you've had?
Nairobi Design Week. That's 2023 March.
Not blankets.
No blankets. We did much more Nairobi. Then we moved to Embe.
Oh,
You can remember
actually,
that first
yeah,
amount we
Nairobi
had.
Design Week.
We sold out actually.
Yeah, we sold out. I
Yeah.
remember that event was like a
two-day event.
a 2-day event, but it was like they actually after the 2-day event was over, they extended it to the other
following week.
So the following week, they called us and they were like, "Can you guys come through?" And we are like, "No, we don't have
any more
stock."
stock.
Yeah, it was finished.
It was finished. And by
Was
that time we had so many products. I believe we had over 50 products.
Yeah, we did. We had a lot of products that day.
But they finished everything.
Yeah, they
was
had
it
bought
between
everything.
100, 200, 300?
It was just slightly below 100.
Just slightly below 100.
Yeah.
Okay, so but it was, I mean, in terms of money you've taken home, you guys are happy.
Yeah, we were really happy. I think
Okay.
that was the
And
first
you couldn't get your stock quickly enough.
We didn't have a production house. Now we were relying on a guy that could subcontract and make for us the clothes. Yeah, compared to now when you have a production house and everything else is seamless.
But that guy, ametupatia character development. Wow. This phone is over here. I remember there is a day we were going for this. I think it's the second Insta market actually. The second Insta market. So luckily we had stock with us. But tuliko tumeanza kutengenezesha more stock. So we had tie-dyed the fabric. So the work he had only was to bring them, put them together, and we sell them. So I remember the event was on Saturday, and on Thursday I'm calling him and I'm like, yo, what's the progress on the items? We need to take them to branding so that we can be able to sell them. And he's like, nafaa kukupatia leo utazipata. Okay, jioni nampigia, yo, where the progress? Utazipata bro, kesho utakuwa nazo. This is Friday now.
Day before the event.
Before the event. Hey bro, rather bro, namalizia mchana nitakuletea.
He actually promised to bring them at the pop-up.
At the pop-up.
Eventually.
We never saw him. He never came. And luckily, for that day, we had a bit of stock left. So we sold that.
That's what I was
I remember after that, Insta Market, the following week on Monday, we were like, me and Gacie, we are going to where our fundi is. He was based in Kikuyu. We take all our items and we are done with him because he had done us bad the previous weekend. So we went, took all of our items, all of our fabrics and left, and we
didn't have a plan.
And we didn't have a plan. We were like,
but we were so tired.
You know what? Let's go. God ndio atatupatia mtu mwenye tutashona naye next. And that's how we left. And when we went to the Insta Market, we got a guy where the one of the vendors who was selling next to us had a guy who mwenye alikuwa anamshonea. So he was like willing to connect us with him. So till date,
that's the guy. We even poached the guy.
From the business.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So you said, because this big thing, the big Nairobi Fashion Week seems to happen, Fashion Design Week, seems to happen in March of 2023. That's 3 months after, I guess you guys have sort of moved. That seems to be the next big thing that happens for you guys. Then you say you moved to Embe thereafter.
Yeah, thereafter the demand was getting high. That's when now we moved from home.
Yeah.
We found some space in Embe and started working at Embe.
Okay, so now you rent a space and now you have full everything. And now essentially you're running a full
business.
Full business at that point. I mean, so at that point, are you feeling validated by the choices that you make? In terms of I don't want to say, but neglecting the career path that you have taken, that you have studied for, and now coming into this creative space?
At that point, we are really not sure. Me, myself, I wasn't sure, but I had so much hope with the product that you are doing. Because again, making a product and it's being bought by, already you had sold almost more than 100 products. It shows you that the product is viable. So by that time, I think I'm really confident in the product. I'm just thinking of how we can improve on the product. Yeah, so I think I was a bit not sure if that's what I'll be doing for the rest of my life, but I was like, it's something.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think after that, I still got a job.
Yes.
Oh, you still got a job?
You still got an internship at
so you were still applying for internships?
Yeah, because I was like, I wasn't sure, and again, the pressure from home, like, what are you doing? Like, are you sure that's what you want to do?
You didn't have the same... I want to call it largely support that he did.
He got. Yeah, so from that I was like torn in between. So but in Zuri, like I applied for an internship, a paid internship at Ministry of Education, and I got the job. So I was trying to balance the job and Regalia.
Yeah. How did the job go? What were they paying you?
I remember that was at 25K. Yeah.
How long? And it's a 3 month. You were there for 3 months only.
No, I was there for almost 1 year.
Almost a year.
But I quit in between. I didn't finish the whole year.
Yeah, I didn't finish the whole year.
I quit and what brought about the quitting?
Regalia.
You're just like
the growth.
Okay. Or the demand
The
became
demand
too much
is,
for.
and he can't handle alone.
Yeah.
Okay.
For me, I was like 100%. This is what I
He
want
was
to do.
very sure
Yeah.
from the
At that
beginning.
point, you were after the call center. You were like, "This is it."
This is it.
Okay.
This is it.
And what's been the journey been like since then? Or any big financial milestones?
Yeah, so that year, I remember the reason that made me quit is a corporate job that we got that year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it demanded a lot. Our first corporate job that we got that year, that we were
Essentially, it's designing.
Yeah, designing.
Their merchandise.
Their merchandise for
merchandise
corporate
for that
entity.
for year 2023.
3.
Actually, it's last year.
Yeah,
Kitambo.
last year
Yeah.
actually.
That was our first. We did merchandise for Firmbridge. That was our first corporate job
Yeah.
last year.
And that then changed.
Everything else,
Because
yeah.
we were like, so I think it's God not being lucky. It's God and also being consistent. Because after we got Firmbridge, like 1 week or 2 weeks later, Kopo came to
in.
call in. And we were like, now it's starting to make sense.
That makes sense.
We did for Kopo now. Then after just Kopo, after like a few weeks, like 3-4 weeks, one of our friends hooked us up with their friend who is currently doing like an F1 podcast called Will Spin Podcast. So they wanted also merchandise
from us.
So we also worked on their merchandise, and after that, what else do you do?
And also, I in that period being at Embe, now people are walking into the store, so at least you're making
Right.
1, 2, 3 sales.
Sales, yeah.
Also online now, we are starting to pop, and at least you're getting 1, 2, 3 orders.
Okay.
From our Instagram, yeah.
What's the difference between making money from the corporate stuff and the merchandise stuff vis-a-vis the retail? Which one has a better return?
So I can't compare the on the business side. There's, what do I say?
Okay, like corporate, comparing corporate with
Retail.
with
One-on-one
Regalia.
customers, yes.
I think right now I can choose Regalia
Regalia.
because we actually we launched a collection with Brian Babu like some
2 weeks
Yes.
ago.
Yes.
some few weeks ago, and the sales
In business, whatever you make in corporate in a month, you can do that in business in several days or even in a
several
day.
days, right? Yes.
But now it comes with a lot of responsibility.
But like 2023, I think corporate was making sense, much more sense,
yeah.
than the
retail.
the retail side, the Regalia side now. Because after I think Will Spin, that's when actually I think we met Babu, I guess. And we did majors, if I'm not wrong, or we did, because we have worked on Soulfest, merchandise for their dancers, and also we were able to get a corporate job from Nokia.
Last year.
So Nokia now came in, and so the Nokia part was like, this, because it had some good money.
Okay. I mean, so it sounds like, there's some money that you guys have made during the last, I guess one would say, year or so. So did you guys start paying yourselves eventually? Or have you started paying yourselves eventually? Or are you still
I think back then, now we started getting like an allowance. Yeah, we just started getting like a small allowance to just make you get comfortable. Just move around, come to job, get lunch.
Yeah.
At least you can buy
Lipa
yourself.
to bills, hapa na
bills,
pale.
Yeah.
But nothing much, because most of these, again, we are still bootstrapping on our business because we want as much money to go back to the business.
Yeah.
Because you were to set up a production house. That was
Yeah.
on top of our mind.
Yeah. Yes.
That you were able to set up early this year.
Okay.
So that was actually among the first priorities that we had. The production house, our website that we were able to set up late last year and early this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even now you're still on your journey. You're still in
we're
the
still on our
process
journey.
Still on our
of trying
journey.
to figure out what the business model and the financial elements of it really look like.
For sure, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But
So
the struggles are not the same anymore.
Yeah.
It's not you
It's
can
not
recognize that you're in a different place than you are currently.
Yeah.
Okay. So right now, you're essentially right now you're investing everything that you have. Both of you are still going into Regalia. First of all, it sounds like an incredible journey already so far with where you've reached. I think from where you started, and I think it's always good to find and work in a space that you love and that you're actually committed to. Right?
Yeah.
I cannot wait to have you guys here maybe in another 3 or 4 years.
Hey,
When
be
probably
the Kenyan Nike.
Another 3 and 4 years to see what you guys have developed. Hopefully this is one of those podcasts that people will be looking back on 10 years from now and like, oh yeah, that is when they were 2 years in, and now it's a really huge enterprise.
Yeah.
But I mean, thank you guys for coming on to Financially Incorrect for starters. We really appreciate you coming and giving us this story. It gives us yet another perspective. Of course, so we've had Brian Babu who's come here, who's talked about styling and what that life sort of looks like. Like I said, we have Chris Njoroge who gave a little bit of a story. I think you guys are a bit younger in terms of the journey of where she was at. But it's just good for, I think, for context as well and people out there. And actually, as I finish, what's the best piece of financial advice you think you've gotten in your life so far?
Okay, my dad keeps on telling us kidogo kidogo jaza kibaba. So there's no little money. Save that little gets to much money that you can do something big with. So don't throw that small money that you have. You can still bootstrap that money to a big thing, because actually that's the formula we've used.
That's the formula we usually use. Yes,
that's what you guys use essentially.
Till now, till date.
Okay.
So for me, my mom, because yeye ndo amekuwa like tuseme yeye ndo nikana kwa role model wangu, because she's like a real business woman. So yeye ushinda kiniambia you just have to know how to manage your finances. Like when you get money, just divide it into like she usually tells me divide it into like 3 or 4, patia Mungu yake, rudisha yenye uli invest before, separate it with the profit, and like probably vitu kama rent and bills eka kando. That's how you'll be able to manage your business.
Let me also employ you to try something. On our podcast now, we've gotten a second sponsor, Loop. And they have, initially I used to think Loop was purely just a bank account and like an account for young people, but they've created a real solution, right, for both entrepreneurial and business individuals and individuals. So I'm currently using it I haven't started using it for my budgeting per se, but I've started using it as the place where I make all of my money transactions from, and it keeps track of all of those. And I found it has simplified my processes for sure, because before I was those kinds of people who had, like when I was making my SACCO donations or whatever the case is, I have to go back to my WhatsApp chat, copy paste the number, paste the account number, and sort of make multiple separate transactions. But now all of them are sort of captured in one app. And what I did tell the audience is that I am going to keep informing them and letting them know how my journey goes on with Loop. I'll try them for budgeting. They have multiple solutions, including overdraft possibilities, loans, and stuff like that. We'll get into them as the weeks go on, but you guys go try it out. Let me know. I know you told me you already have an NCBA account. Yeah. So go download Loop, and then we see how it goes for you guys.
Yeah, we'll try it out.
You'll try it out. Let me know.
Sure,
and you give me feedback. I'll send it back to the brand manager. Tell them if it's useful for you as an enterprise or not. But again, thanks for coming to Financially Incorrect. And for you guys, thank you for watching this episode. We will see you next Friday for our next episode of Financially Incorrect.